SUXXESES forced to kneel down. Harry and Meghan yelling in pain as blasted for race slur witch hunt. This was never going to be the ideal week for Prince Charles to learn from a new book that he was being accused of questioning the future skin color of Prince Harry and Meghan's children. He was, in any case, arriving in Barbados representing the Queen at a momentous ceremony to mark the transition of the Caribbean island to a republic, and the place problems with race and identification politics are key. Whether the claim by American author Christopher Andersen, made with his usual audacious assertions of impeccable sources, is true, is quite another matter. It earned the immediate scorn of royal officials, with one describing it as fiction. Andersen has an observed report of writing books in regards to the royals that depend on essentially the most astonishingly intimate, some would say contentious, data. In a 2001 book called Diana's Boys, he claimed that William and Harry had insisted on walking behind their mother's coffin when in fact they agreed to do so only the night before the funeral, when their grandfather Prince Philip offered to walk with them. For Charles, the timing of this latest volume, however improbable the content, is unfortunate on two counts. To have such a grotesque accusation hanging over him as he engages in one of the most diplomatically sensitive of missions. Barbados is the first country to remove the Queen as its head of state since 1992, is bad enough, but against the backdrop of last night's controversial BBC documentary probing Harry and Meghan's relations with the media, it is a mischievous distraction. However, the way in which the story has raced around the world on social media hints on the potential harm such expenses can have, even in opposition to the one determine who has performed greater than another member of the royal household to promote racial tolerance. The tragedy for Charles is that nevertheless scurrilous the allegations, the blame for all of it lies a lot nearer to residents. It was Harry and Meghan who triggered the "Who was the royal racist" mystery in their Oprah Winfrey interview last March, when it became open season for any writer to line their pockets with spurious speculation at the expense of the royal family. In accordance to Andersen, the catalyst for Charles's alleged remarks was his son and former actress Meghan's engagement virtually precisely 4 years in the past on November 27, 2017. He claims that a couple of hours after the announcement the prince requested the Duchess of Cornwall over breakfast. "I'm wondering what the youngsters will seem like?" Camilla was stated to be considerably greatly surprised and allegedly replied, "Nicely, completely attractive, I'm sure." The prince, so the book claims, lowered his voice and added, "I mean, what do you think their children's complexion might be?" How very tantalizing it sounds, but can it possibly be true? It is hard to think of a more crass conversation than the kind imagined here, even though Andersen claims the prince's words were made innocently, not least because it requires a considerable leap of faith. Who on earth overheard this confidential breakfast-time dialogue, full with voice-lowering inflection, earlier than, as Andersen has it, scheming courtiers gave Charles's phrases a racist spin? Can we even make certain such exchanges passed off over the breakfast desk in any respect? The actual fact is the couple have a tendency to take breakfast individually. The prince prefers tea and toast, whereas Camilla typically has hers on the go or skips it. No wonder Clarence House aides are poring over the couple's diary for November 28, 2017, which suggests they would have had little time for such a languid discussion over toast and marmalade. Charles and Camilla travelled to Stoke-on-Trent for a day of engagements across the Potteries, during which the Duchess gave an interview in which she spoke of their joy at Harry and Meghan's engagement. If there is any consolation for Charles, it is the view of those close to him that the quotes attributed to him are so unlikely and so out of character. The issue for Charles is that the fallout from the royal racist row long predates Andersen's potboiler. It all began with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's Oprah broadcast. Meghan was insistent that questions on Archie's complexion have been motivated by racism, as opposed to, say, curiosity, too. The Duchess claimed a number of conversations about Archie's pores and skin color passed off in these months after I was pregnant. Andersen claims that Harry angrily confronted his father, with Charles allegedly telling him he was being overly delicate. However, 9 months on, the fallout from the poisonous Oprah interview exhibits no signal of diminishing. Oprah